Welcome, everyone. We are recording this on a Wednesday night, a cold Wednesday night in Chicago, as it always is in December. I'm here with Ryan. First official podcast. How does it feel? Are you excited? Are you ready to go?
Ready to go, excited.
Ready to go and excited. Guys,
Hot.
do you hear how excited he sounds in his voice? Do you hear that?
Oh my god, I can't go, let's go!
That's okay, all right. Now we're making progress. We're going to talk some college football today. It's been a pretty what's the word to describe? What word am I looking for to describe this season? What is it? What am I looking for here?
It's not been chaos,
but it hasn't just been regular.
but it's been way irregular.
It's like a college football season. It's just kind of its own entity. Like every season's kind of got its own vibe, and this season's no
I
different.
will say, with the 14 playoff, it makes watching like the last, I guess, 4 weeks worth of games like that much better.
I love it. I agree.
Because it's not like, in the BCS, Florida State would probably still be number one.
Right.
And then you'd have that Alabama-Oregon battle for number 2. But now you got that's Baylor-TCU fiasco.
You would have it would be Alabama, Florida State. That's what it would be.
You have Alabama, Florida State. You have Florida State undefeated at number 4, with the possibility, if they struggle against Georgia Tech, to fall out of the top 4.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that in a second. Let's start with the Heisman race, everyone's favorite trophy. I think we both kind of are on the same page with this one, where we both think Melvin Gordon is the winner, and I probably sound like a big homer, or should be the winner, should I say. And I probably sound like a big homer, but I don't care. That guy has been unreal. He's been unbelievable. I'm not too happy he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated because of the Sports Illustrated jinx, but we're going to pretend that that's not happening. You know, we're going to pretend it doesn't exist. I mean, the guy's been unbelievable. He's untackable. He can do every single thing. I mean, he really reminds me of like a young Adrian Peterson, where he kind of just was running off of pure talent and didn't really know it all the way yet. But as soon as he gets that extra 10%, I mean, that's hopefully going to come at the next level, you know.
Well, if he got the extra 10%, that sounds about right, because, he is Wisconsin's offense.
Right. That's
Stave, and then whoever that other cat is.
It doesn't matter. They're all terrible.
They're throwing the ball to nobody.
No receivers. No playmakers anywhere.
So they're stacking the box, and he's still running for $180 a game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And then, he ran for 408 in 3 quarters. And could he have foreshadowed, he probably should have took about 4 carries in that 4th quarter to get to him to about 440.
To about 500 after 4 more carries.
So the dude in Oklahoma wouldn't just...
That was the worst thing ever, man. I was so mad about that. That was so lame.
The first thing I thought of was, who was it who tweeted out, he was like, Wisconsin holds the touchdown record.
It was Melvin, or it was Monty Ball. Monty Ball,
and then what is it? Most rushing yards in the season, and literally the next week I was like, well, that tweet lasted 7 days.
Oh, brutal! I mean, good for that kid. You know, it's pretty cool that he ran for that many yards, but the next week, you couldn't just let him keep it, you know what I mean? That takes so much of the luster out of it.
But he's probably gonna break Barry Sanders' record for rushing yards in the season.
But that's only because they have 2 more games left.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is.
But he's going to break it. And, he is the best player in college football.
You know what's the coolest thing about him, too? Is he murdered, he killed the Bo Pelini era in Nebraska. He killed it.
Yeah, he was the straw that broke the camel's back.
But he put a lot of straws on that camel's back, too, with that Big Ten championship game. He's killed them his entire Wisconsin career. He murdered the Bo Pelini Nebraska era. He put a lot of straws on, and then he was the straw.
And then he did 408 and 3/4. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
How
both
bad was
leagues
that
gotta have
Nebraska?
nightmares.
How bad is that Nebraska defense?
Wow, I mean, they weren't that bad, right? Right? Wasn't that the thing? They weren't too bad, right? And then
I mean, if you everybody, I mean, I can't say poor Pliny, but I think the expectation. I mean, he's won 9 games every year in Nebraska, and they're like living in the mid-90s, thinking
they love it. They love the mid-90s.
thinking they're like, I don't know. LSU fans are the same way. As soon as Les Miles gets
Oh,
fired,
get out of here! You guys have
run a
had so much more
parade.
success. No, you're just
There
too
will
deep
be
in it.
no. I'm telling you right now. I've seen it. Nobody likes him. Like, nobody likes him.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, he's not going anywhere if you keep winning, right? Unless, like, what if Harbaugh wants to come coach LSU?
I don't know. I think it'll take a lot to get Miles fired. I mean, dude, he's won 100 games in 10 years.
Right. That's why he's had a lot of success, but he doesn't seem like that good. Like, all that offensive talent, and he just can't score points. Like, what is the deal? Like, I understand there's some coaches that are just. Lovie Smith was the same way.
And then it's bad. It's hard. Like, it's not hard to watch. I mean, I still watch the games, but I mean, it's just offensive ineptitude.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah.
It's awful.
It does sound awful.
Like, when you go a game and you can't throw a pass, like, pretty much, you know how Rex Grossman for the Bears, all he did was chuck it deep? That's what Anthony Jennings does. He just chucks it deep.
I know. I remember from the first game that the season that Wisconsin LSU played.
I mean, he's like 4 of 12 for like 150 and a touchdown and 3 picks.
Right.
Whatever.
But we both think, back to the Heisman, we both think that Mariota is going to win. And we both think that for probably the same reasons. He's a quarterback. And
he's a quarterback. Yep, pretty much that's how it goes.
And Jameis kind of, I don't know, like, did some enough BS to just kind of wanting them to have, you know, like.
No, he's. I didn't think he was going to win it again coming into the season.
But I mean, why not though? When you really think about it, are his numbers like that much crazy different? I mean, the team's he hasn't lost yet.
Yeah, but I mean, last year
he less talent.
He threw like I don't know, what has he got? 17 interceptions this year. It's up there. I mean,
you know what though?
He just played a Florida team that lost to Missouri, who threw the ball no yards. Like, they ran the ball for like 100. They're like 128 total yards of offense, and they lost by like 40. And then he just played them, and he threw 4 picks. And they barely won. Like, this whole season has been Florida State, Clemson. Clemson's a prime example. Well, he didn't even play in that game. And
Jameis, I keep calling him Jimbo. Jameis, listen, there was a lot of NFL talent on that team last year.
I know, but I mean, he's got a lot of. He still has talent around him.
I agree with you though, in what you said when you said he might be feeling himself a little bit too much. I
think he came into this like last year. It was like last year he was bailed out by pretty much a very good defense.
Yeah.
And I mean, they should have lost to Notre Dame. That was a ridiculous flag. And I mean,
that was great.
That was not.
Notre Dame
dude, Notre Dame's 6-6. Come on, it doesn't matter. They just got by US.
That was 6 great games this year that they played.
But I don't think that's Yeah, I think it's going to be Mariota, and then Gordon's going to be second, and then as far as 3, I don't know who. I mean, I don't know who else they invite. But if you look at his numbers, they're not that good. I mean, they're right.
There's no standout this year, which is why I think Melvin can win it. Like, I think he can. I think because Mariota's like, is Mariota really like the Heisman Trophy winner? Like, would you look back at this season and ever be like, that's a Heisman caliber season, or is he just the best quarterback on?
He's the best quarterback on one of the best teams.
Right. Like, that's it though.
That's it. I mean,
you go back at Heisman seasons and you're
when
like,
was the last time a running back won the Heisman?
Ingram?
Before that. What was Ingram? He was the best player on the best team.
Right. Well, that's how it goes.
So,
But there is no best player on the best team this year. You know,
there isn't, but
maybe
they're
Amari Cooper. Like Amari Cooper's not going to win the.
he's going to get invited. He's going to go. He'll be
He'll
invited.
go, but he's not going to win. I mean, they brought Manti Te'o. Like he's not going to win.
No, he's not going to win. He's going to finish fourth.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the best player from the best team is a receiver, and Mariota just wins by default. I don't like that.
I mean, that's what's going to. I don't think. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that sucks. That's stupid.
Because
I hope the committee is smart enough. I hope they really think about this one for a second and don't just mail in their votes. You know.
But they're not, because I mean it's a quarterback. It's pretty much they're going to give it to a quarterback. I mean Ingram was like the outlier.
I guess you're right.
Think about it. I mean, look at Melvin Gordon. Literally, he's going to run for almost 3,000 yards.
If he breaks the record, I bet they'll give it to him.
I hope they give it to him because he's the best player in college football.
I agree. I love that you agree on that. That's a great thing to agree on. Melvin Gordon's great because he's great.
It should go Gordon, Mariota, Cooper, Prescott, and then Boykin from TCU. As I don't know who to put. I don't know who else to put in there.
Yeah, that would be it. Maybe they'll just do 4. Maybe they'll just do Cooper, Gordon, Dak, and Mariota.
Prescott's now got 2 losses.
Yeah, but it's still it was a story early, so it like kind of comes back around when they start talking about Heisman guys, you know.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
there's not that one player that everybody's like, yeah, him. Because you can make an argument you can make an argument for Mariota. I think Gordon's the best player. I thought that's what the Heisman was for. I was under the impression it was for the best college football player. I mean, I think that's how like the Division I AA gives out whatever they give out. I think it's like the Walter Payton Award. It ends up going to like or whatever it's called.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it should be the best player, and I hope they get it right. I hope they get it right and pick Melvin Gordon. So let's get to the playoff here. The rankings are right now Bama, Oregon, TCU, Florida State would be in that order. Would be the top 4. That would be the playoff bracket. So we'd have Alabama, Florida State, Oregon, TCU, which I think would probably be the 2 best matchups. I mean, I think that would be ideal right now for entertainment purposes, for like my selfish purposes. Those matchups seem great on paper.
I mean, they seem great. I think Oregon TCU might be like who has the ball last.
Right, which is great. That would be a great game to watch.
TCU put up what 80? Who they put up 80-something points on?
82.
I mean, and Oregon can score. Oregon's like whole motto is let's score in a minute.
Right. That would be a great game to watch. That would be a track
meet. I'd hope that Alabama, Florida State would be pretty good, but
no, Bama would smoke them.
Bama would probably.
Bama would smoke them.
Then I don't know. I don't think Florida State would be number 4, but I think Florida State gets.
They have to.
I think Florida State gets smoked by any of the 3 teams ahead of them. So no matter where you put them, I don't see Florida State winning.
Okay, so let's get to that. Okay, here's your top 10, and you tell me which of these teams Florida State would be favored against on a neutral field. Bama, Oregon, TCU, Ohio State, Baylor, Arizona, Michigan State, Kansas State, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, they probably would be. Michigan. See, I heard they.
But this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I mean. Is they wouldn't be
Alabama. It's not going to be any of the 3 teams ahead of them.
No, they wouldn't.
I don't.
Ohio State maybe because of
pre-Barrett injury. No, I think now it's a push.
Yeah, Baylor they wouldn't be favored against. Arizona maybe. I mean they would be favored because the public would probably swing the line towards Florida State.
Michigan State, I think they would be 2. I mean, Michigan State's not that good.
I don't think so either.
I just think they're up there because like they're defaulted up there.
So they would be favored against Michigan State. They'd be favored against Kansas State.
I don't know because I've watched Kansas State play a few times. They're not bad. Like they play really sound football.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying. I mean, they might be.
So
They would
on a
be favored by
neutral
like
on a
3
neutral
against K-State,
field,
which is
I don't think you favor K-State. I think you'd give it to Florida State, but I think K-State have a better shot at winning.
so. We both agree that Florida State could get beat by any of these 10 teams. Probably, maybe
I
not
think Florida
Michigan
State could
State,
get
right?
beat by a lot more than just 10 teams.
Well, okay. But I'm talking. Let's
But
scope it down.
out of the top 10, yeah, I think I mean, for sure, I could see him losing to 7 of those 10 teams.
Okay, so
On a
aren't we
neutral field.
back to exactly where we were before with an undeserving team for whatever reason somehow getting in? Where I would like to make the point where I agree that they should be in. Because they haven't lost yet. I think that carries over. I know every year is different. It doesn't carry over every season to season, but I think because they haven't lost yet, you have to give them that chance. And that's just kind of like a common sense thing more than like a.
I mean, I agree. I don't think they
Rule thing.
shouldn't be in the top 4. I just think they should be number 4.
Okay, so who has the biggest gripe with that? Is it Baylor? Does Baylor have the biggest gripe about that?
I think Baylor's biggest gripe is that they beat TCU head to head, and TCU's ahead of them.
Okay, let's get to that then. But we both agree that TCU should be. They've looked better than Baylor.
Correct.
They've looked better, both of us.
What hurts the Big 12 is no conference championship game.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So I mean, while you do play everybody in your conference, you get this because now you have actually they're going to call them co-champs, but wouldn't Baylor win it outright based on head? Like I don't understand how.
I think it's conference record.
They give
or
them
something.
but they both have 1 loss in conference.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
But
That's weird.
TCU, but Baylor beat TCU, so logically, if you factor in head-to-head to see who wins the conference, Baylor should win it outright. I don't see how you can give them co-champs.
It's
I
like
can understand if they didn't play each other.
Didn't this happen?
Didn't
Didn't this happen in the Big 12 already though?
Yeah, there
2
was like
years ago?
There was a 3-way tie, and that's how. But that's when they had 12 teams. I forgot. There was like a 3-way tie in one division, and that's how.
That's right, but
they
all
the
beat
third
each other.
team. They all beat each other, and they were all like 6-2.
Right.
And then then it goes to like this weird tiebreaker formula of like, it went to like it goes like division record, head to head, and then like number 6 tiebreaker was BCS standings, and I think that's how.
That's what it was. Yeah, it got deep as hell into the tiebreakers. I remember that.
But then I think every conference was like that. If you tied in your division, if they're like whatever head to head or conference record, then it went down to BCS. If there was like a 3-team tie.
Does every division have the same, or does every conference have the same tiebreaker rules?
I mean, I would assume you'd have.
Right. Okay, I was just gonna say if they don't, then they should.
First
Totally
is head to head.
Seems so weird.
First is head to head. So, but that only works with 2 teams because you got more than 2.
No.
Unless there's like 3 teams and then one team beat each of the other teams, like they're 2-0 again. Because I know there were scenarios where LSU could win the SEC West this year, and they got like shit to bed, and it had to be like a 5-team tie.
Oh God! See, we're getting what are we even talking about anymore? We're getting way off track. So we both have the same top 4 then, because I think Ohio State. I think that losing your quarterback should matter, right?
I mean, it
should
to an extent, but like, why do you punish the whole? Like, it's not
bumps in the brakes, man.
But they lost to Virginia Tech. That's my only gripe. And
you know what's funny about the Virginia Tech is I called that game as soon as I saw it up. As soon as I saw it,
Virginia Tech.
Because it was Virginia Tech they just have that they blitz and stuff, and like it was his first starting game, and that's totally different than coming in at the end of a game or through an injury. And it was his first week. He had a lot on his mind. Talking about Barrett. And I knew that they were going to lose that Virginia Tech game. So basically what that says to you is that, Ohio State lost an out-of-conference game that they shouldn't have and then won all their Big Ten games, which is what they always
lost a Big Ten game in 3 years.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's just what they do. So if you take all that into account, which is what isn't that what they're supposed to be doing? Is they're supposed to be using like their own sensibilities to
common
this?
sense? Yeah, but they're punishing. I don't know. I guess they're gonna punish
I think
teams
they should.
for. They're gonna punish teams for who did you lose to, and then well, obviously you look at Florida State. They're getting punished for just playing like shit.
Well, I mean, punish is one thing. I mean,
Not really punished, but like they went from 1 to 4 in like 4 weeks, or 2 to 4.
well, that's good. That's better than the old system where they would have just stayed at number one. It's like the video games. Like, who cares how bad you look if you're number one in NCAA? You're staying there until you lose, you know?
That's true.
And then it's like impossible to get back. They always made it so hard to get back to number one, no matter what the team.
I still play that game, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course.
On
so
my
do I.
360.
Yeah, of course. Represent.
I'm in year 2046.
So it's you look at this stuff and you're basically like.
So what does the committee do? All right. So let's say Florida State loses to Georgia Tech, but then Ohio State and Baylor win. Who gets that 4th spot?
Baylor should.
Does it go Baylor or does it go Ohio State?
Baylor should. I seriously, even if Ohio State wins, I think that should hurt them. Like, I want the 4 best teams in there. Like, I'm sorry, but if
Barrett lists Ohio State is not one of the 4 best teams.
I don't think so. I mean, unless this dude comes out and he just plays like he's a revolutionary or something. Like he's.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna win. I don't. I mean, this kid's like his first start is the conference championship game when he hadn't really. What he played like a half, like a quarter and a half.
And like Wisconsin does funky defensive things. Like they don't just do normal fronts. Like they do a lot of like weird looks and then switching at the last minute. Which with film study and stuff, it's easy to pick up over like a full season. But I mean, this kid, it's his first start, and you can see anything on film. But as soon as you get to that line of scrimmage,
I think that's a lot of
pressure.
I don't think Ohio State wins this week. I don't think Florida State. I think that triple option is going to give Florida State way too many problems.
I think it's going to be funny to watch this Florida State, like Jameis's last, like not his last game. He's got the whatever crappy bowl game they go to, but by then he might just leave school or something. But it'd be funny to watch this Florida State win streak go down to the triple option of all things. Like
the triple option,
the freaking oldest trick in the book.
Yeah,
like it's been literally getting run since 1898.
And they're like one of them in Navy, like the only in Air Force maybe. Does Air Force still run that wishbone?
I don't think so. I think they got a new coach.
Two teams in all of college football that run the option.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a high school offense at this point compared to the stuff that other teams are running. And I don't know. You're kind of right. I think that would be funny. I think Florida State pulls it out because Jameis will just pull something out of his ass like he always does.
I think they're going to end it. If they do win, it's going to be by a field goal, and that dude's going to kick like 60-yarder to win the game.
All right, so let's just get into the picks then. Let's pick some games for this weekend. So what do you think? You think Georgia Tech's going to win? You said they were going to give them problems.
Yeah, I picked them in the pick 'em too, Georgia Tech. I
got Florida State.
I just think a week to prepare for the triple option, and you struggled against every team. I mean, like the last 4 games. I just think eventually your luck runs out. I think they lose here.
I got Florida State because of Jameis Winston's fourth quarter magic. That's it. That's the only way. Florida State's going to get outplayed. They're going to get outgained. They're going to get out everything, but the scoreboard's going to say they won at the end of the game because of Jameis Winston.
And then that puts, that gives us Alabama, Florida State. If everything stays, that's if both TCU and Oregon win.
All right, so what about Ohio State, Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
I agree. I think, like we talked about, I think that's just too much.
No T.J. Barrett. JT, whatever. TJ, JT,
the dyslexic.
No,
JT Barrett,
no
TJ
Barrett. I can't. I mean, unless this dude is just like the second coming of Randall Cunningham.
And that's funny. It's just so interesting because it's interesting we're even bringing that up because if anybody but an Urban Meyer running back / quarterback would you ever think could come in and play? Like we would judge every single quarterback unless it's an Urban Meyer prospect is saying there's no way.
Yeah, But we're sitting here, and it's like everybody thinks, well, I mean,
right. Even
like,
the fact that the thought comes up is kind of funny. Like, it's just that stupid system, and these guys just come in and just put up numbers. It's insane. But
I saw across the bottom line today that this kid was like the 33rd rated quarterback coming out of high school. 2 years ago? I was like 33rd. I said, good lord. I was like, that's not like number 33 in the country. That's like 33rd rated quarterback.
Right.
So there's 32 guys that were better than him. Well,
but we both are well aware what recruiting rankings.
I mean, it
really mean.
I wouldn't be shocked if he comes out in Ohio State just like wins. And
right. Scores on the first 3 drives and he looks great. Yeah, I absolutely think that can happen. But Wisconsin wins.
But I think Wisconsin ball control. Melvin Gordon.
Arizona, Oregon.
I took Oregon. It wouldn't surprise me if Arizona won, but I don't think they're going to beat Oregon for a second time this year. Not on a neutral field. Not with the way Oregon's been playing the last, ever since they lost that game. It's just pretty much been like full throttle.
What a lot of Oregon's a lot of like intimidation. Like, because you have to prepare for them in a certain way, they become intimidating. In like a way, because you have to do something different than you normally would. But Arizona isn't afraid of that at all. Like, they know that they can beat them. They're 100% fully supremely confident in beating them. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think it's tough to do it twice. And
I think if Oregon had beat Arizona,
right?
And
exactly.
I think I'd give Arizona another 10% to win, but I just can't. No. I don't know. I think it'll be a good game, but I think in the end, Oregon wins by about 10 points.
If Oregon had beaten Arizona and were undefeated, number 1 right now, they're absolutely losing to Oregon or Arizona in this game, because that's just how college football works. That's just how it works. K-State, Baylor. If Baylor puts on a good show, could they sneak in? Do you think? Do you think beating Kansas State, if they put on a crazy, they won 62-15?
But would they jump Florida State?
Scenario. Baylor wins 62-15, and Florida State wins by a point in a terrible game where they looked awful.
I think the committee. I can't see the committee dropping Florida State.
Undefeated, but shouldn't they though?
If people, I know people who think Baylor's better. I don't think you can drop them because they haven't lost a game, and that has to count for something. They haven't lost a game in
right.
They'll be 29, 30 straight wins.
That's the ultimate paradox with this team, because they haven't lost a game in 2 years, but they don't look good at all. They're struggling to beat everybody that they beat.
But still, I can't see. There's no way.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
They're going to drop. I can't see them going any. If they win, they're not going to move up unless teams ahead of them lose. But they're not going to go any. I don't think because if these rankings come out on Sunday afternoon, and Florida State is not in the top 4, you're going to have riots. And then you're going to get the BTS chirps to come back.
No, God, please. God, this is so much better. This is light years better than that nonsense.
We are legit talking about what happens if Florida State wins and wins ugly.
And they might not make it after not losing for 2 years.
If this was last year, it'd be it doesn't matter. If they win, they're in.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That's what's beautiful about this first season of the playoffs, is because the team that won it last year with the reigning Heisman Trophy winner has looked absolutely terrible, but is undefeated, and might still stay undefeated and still look terrible. And we're talking about a Baylor team that's already lost this year.
They lost to a pretty mediocre West Virginia team.
Right.
It was in West Virginia, but
that's progress though. That's progress to what it should be. Is the fact that conversation's even happening. Even if it's only 2 guys on a podcast, not a lot of people are going to hear. except for the millions and millions of listeners.
If this was an 18 playoff, would this discussion be happening?
No, it would be great, but it would also. But that's
We'd
if
be
it was
talking
an
about
18
like
playoff, then we'd be talking about Mississippi
Mississippi
State
State.
getting in over Michigan State, which would be still great. Why isn't this 8 yet? Why is let's
I
just
don't
make
know.
it 64?
I know one
Let's
double
just
A's
do
like
it.
one
Who
double A's like
cares?
12 teams. No, is it 12? Whatever. It's like 12 with the top 4 get a bye or something like that.
No, that's stupid. No, I don't
something
like that.
ridiculous.
I don't like that. 8
It's
or
gonna
just
go-
do,
it's
just
gonna
say
become-
fucking go 64.
It's
March
going to
Madness.
be 8. It's going to be 8 in about 2 to 3 years. They're going to
Yes, it'll be 8
take.
in 2 years.
They're going to take the Big 12 is going to have to find 2 more teams.
Yeah,
they're
or
taking-
just do a conference championship game without divisions. Like
They're
you're
gonna-
gonna have to.
They're going to take its conference winners, the 5 Power 5 winners, and then they're going to take 3 at large. So it's going to end up having to be.
And how much fun does that sound like?
It doesn't, but
That sounds
that's. I mean,
That
they're
sounds
already,
like the greatest thing ever. What are you
they're
talking
already-
about?
They're
What are you-
already.
what?
They're already talking about 18. We haven't even had
Good.
And they're like, we need
4's
to go.
not enough.
And then some pundits are like, Danny Cannell's like, we should go to 16, which I hate
Yes.
Danny Cannell, by the way. I can't stand
I do too, but I agree with that.
He's like, let's go to 16.
I'm 48% serious when I say that they should just do 64 teams. I'm
But it's
still
like-
joking, but I'm
we
kind of.
got UAB cutting football, and you want to let's make like then the
UAB wasn't making it anyway. Get out of here.
Yeah, but still, they're gonna
Time out though. How
Yeah.
much fun would that be to watch? Over how many weeks
64?
would that be?
it'd have to be. I don't know, I guess
6 weeks?
64, 32, 16,
I'm so bad at math. I'm not even gonna try.
like 5 weeks. Yeah, it'd be 5 weeks.
How much? How sick would
Or
that
like
be?
6 weeks, because I know in high school we do 32 teams down here, and it's 5 weeks long to get from 32 to 1.
How
like another
awesome!
6.
Okay, knock it down to 10-game schedule.
10-game
9
schedule.
10-game
You just
schedule.
play, you just play 10 conference games. You don't play.
Right.
Like, there's no like
No,
Western. there's no like Western Illinois State A&M going play.
right into the
Michigan.
gauntlet.
Yeah,
Just conference games.
week 1, Alabama LSU coming out the gates.
Conference. Let's go. Right into the gauntlet. You just do the conference gauntlet. You go through it. 64 teams make it. You get all the winners, all second place teams. First through what would that be? First through 4 in the power conference would be 20 teams.
20,
so we
yeah,
need
you
to
still
get
need another
44 at-large teams. Let's go. Let's do it.
Just
Why not?
basically taking every team that's in the Power 5. So
Right.
all that's
Exactly.
what 60
And just tournament. Just a big tournament
just
for
a big
6
time.
weeks.
That's what it is.
So you're telling me that wouldn't be the most fun thing to watch in the entire world?
No, I think it'd be great, but
It would be the greatest thing ever. Why don't we just? I don't understand.
we should just do that from the beginning. Like, you know what? We're gonna just take all 120 teams.
Yes,
One
just do a
big
big
tournament.
big tournament.
That's it. You play
We
your one
just
game
solved
and
it.
you're done.
That was great. We just
Alabama,
solved.
Alabama, Missouri. Does Missouri
Oh, yeah,
have
we
a
never picked
chance? Does Missouri have a chance?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be way closer, but Alabama they'll pull away at the end. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't think it would be close.
At all?
No.
No.
I think. Well,
We'll see.
I think
It'll
it'll
be
be
close
like.
for a half.
I think it'll be like last year, where Missouri kept it close and then Auburn just put the pedal to the metal in the second half and pulled
Yeah.
away because they won that
Yeah.
game by like 28 points.
But it was like close though, you know.
It was close, yeah.
was
So
a close
Alabama wins.
It was a close 28.
I want to know what happens if everybody loses. Like Missouri wins,
Missouri wins, Wisconsin wins.
TCU wins, Wisconsin wins, Arizona wins. So now everybody's got 2 losses. Florida State loses.
That would be awesome.
How do you find
It would be-
like
it would be-
4 teams out of that? Like Baylor loses, everybody loses. Just everybody who's supposed to win loses.
Okay.
And the whole
Right.
everybody in
But
the
that
top
would mean
4
Arizona
loses.
wins. So that means
Yeah.
Arizona wins, so they go up. Kansas
But-
State wins, they go up.
Kansas State, Arizona, Wisconsin's not going to. They got what 3 losses.
They don't deserve it.
So
They don't deserve it after this season.
what
It would
team
be-
in the top 4 can lose and not fall out the top 4?
Alabama.
They'd go from
Alabama.
1 to 4.
They're the best team. I don't care if they lose. Even if they lose, they're still the best team. Like that. Even if they lose, they're still the best team, and I still want them to be in the top 4.
So they'd fall to 4 and play somebody.
They play Oregon probably.
Well, I'm saying Oregon loses.
Oh right. Oh, Oregon's losing too.
Everybody loses.
Everybody loses.
All the top 4 lose.
So Alabama. No, I think Alabama would still be number 1.
Alabama wouldn't still be number 1. They would. Well,
no, they would be. It would be Arizona would move up. Or Arizona would move up. Maybe Oregon stays. Like Kansas State might not move up that much. Like it might just still be Alabama, Oregon. You said TCU loses.
Yeah, TCU
and
loses.
Baylor and TCU both lose.
Yeah, both lose. So now everybody's got 2 losses except Florida State. They got 1. So does it?
But no, that's the needle. That's the killer. That's it. I'm calling it. If Florida State loses, they're done. Even if everybody else does too. So that means we got Arizona, Michigan State, Dak Prescott, and the Bulldogs and Alabama. There's your top 4. Welcome to the playoffs. I'm glad ESPN paid $75 billion for you.
That would be. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying if Arizona
it's not
Friday to start that ball rolling down that hill.
How mad would ESPN be if it was Arizona, Mississippi State in the championship?
They would literally they'd be like, I can't believe we just paid all these playoff rights.
Yep.
This is the game we get because they want Alabama, Florida State in that semifinal. And then
they do. They do.
And then they want Alabama against.
That's the underlying factor to Florida State staying at 4 for forever is because they want that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Florida State wins ugly, I don't think they fall. I don't think they stay at 4.
Yeah.
ESPN's gonna be like, give us that game. Give us Alabama, Oregon. Alabama, Florida State.
All right. Well, I mean, it should be interesting. This should be a good week. This is
going to be a great week of college football.
It's going to be good.
Like it's going to be like one of the better weekend conference championship weekends.
Let's hope. You know what happens when it's all the time like this when it's like guaranteed to be the best? There's always just a bunch of blowouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter at AWR Podcast. Yeah, go Cubs. Sign off.
Go Cubs.
Go Cubs, baby.